Already drained of all of my energy.
All right. What's up, and welcome back to another episode of the Run the North podcast. I am back at it today with Miller Football, the Geek Slays. We got the crew here. Today we're going to be recapping the wildcard games, talking about our picks for those games, if we were right or not, previewing the divisional rounds, making our picks for that, and talking about some of the offensive coordinator firings we've seen and some of the offensive coordinators who are staying who shouldn't be. But before we get into all of that, how are you guys doing?
Doing
All right.
not great. I mean, you know how it is. Yeah. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Fuck you.
Hey, how are you, David? How are you?
I'm okay.
Very elaborate, guys.
Yes.
Appreciate you guys
Dude,
expanding on how you
what
are.
do you want me to say, dog? Could this week have gone any worse?
Yeah, whatever you were going to say, you'll say it at some point this episode.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just hop right into the wild card games, talking about recapping some of them quickly. I know we're not great at that, but let's recap some of these games. Starting off with the Jaguars and the Chargers. Okay, starting off from the AFC. Obviously, this is a pretty brutal game for anybody who wears a Chargers uniform currently. A lot needs to come out of this. Obviously, they fired Joe Lombardi after this, but what are our thoughts, boys? Are the Jaguars them? Are they legit? Are they beating the Chiefs?
I don't think we're beating the Chiefs.
No.
I mean, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. I'll put it that way. I think there's absolutely a chance. I think we're going to see, or what, this weekend. How many games is it? 6? No, fuck.
4.
4? 4. God. I'm bad with numbers, okay?
Professional
Anyways.
NFL content creator over here, ladies and gentlemen.
A professional. That's funny. Anyways, I just talk about fullbacks, man. Those are the only numbers I care about. If it's not in the 40s, doesn't matter to me. Or the 30s. Shout out Card Blasting Game. Anyways, we're gonna get a really competitive weekend no matter what. I don't think there's a single game where it's like you can't argue either way. So I don't think it would be the craziest thing in the world for the Jaguars to beat the Chiefs. I think they're an impressive football team. They're coached by a genius. I love Doug Peterson. He's awesome. Trevor clearly showed he's that fucking guy. So I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world, but I still think the Chiefs will end up winning. Maybe that's a little bit of blind confidence in Mahomes, but fuck it, we ball.
Well, I mean, the blind confidence in Mahomes is definitely a choice. When, the Chiefs have maybe the second worst defense of all the teams remaining. I don't know how they compare to the Giants, but the Chiefs defense is bad, dude.
Yeah,
And
no, I
the
don't
Jaguars
disagree.
have some dudes who can make some plays on
Chiefs defense was bad last year too, and they made the championship game.
Right,
So-
and lost. Like that's it's not like they still just were winning everything. Like,
They still made it to the AFC Championship game. Like, that's still an accomplishment.
that is. I'm not
Still,
trying to discredit
yeah.
that, but their defense was the reason they didn't move on last year.
Right.
It's probably
But
going to
they
be the
were
same
able to
this year because their
overcome it.
defense got worse by a lot.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't disagree, but I don't know how to explain it.
Wait,
Or
aren't
how
we
to word
supposed
it,
to be
rather.
recapping the Chargers Jaguars?
Yeah.
Not we're
Essentially.
skipping
Yeah,
too far
we can
ahead.
get into the Chiefs.
Let's go
That's
back.
true.
Let's go. Let's rewind.
Looking at like the Charger side of this, it seems to me, it seems to all of us that after this, Staley is keeping his job. And I made a video on TikTok about this. I am not entirely mad at it as long as they had fired Joe Lombardi. I think Staley's a very good defensive play caller, and I think that the way his defense stepped up in the back half of the season was noteworthy, I would say. And honestly, I'm not sure how involved he was with the offense. It very clearly Lombardi was a big issue for them, so getting rid of him, I think Staley deserves another year with a good offensive mind next to him, because I think that his defensive play calling has earned him another year. And let's be real, okay, Chargers were not great this year, but they made the playoffs this year, didn't make it last year. That's improvement. I mean, it's not like this team went backwards, so I think that
Right.
he's earned himself another year. But Who do you guys put this game on more? Do you put it on the coaching or the actual play of this football team?
Neither. It's
Okay,
it's the
elaborate.
personnel, dude. That offense has no juice. You
That
have
would be the play of the team, but yeah.
well, not real. Like it wasn't the play.
It's not like they
Some
were
dudes
playing
balled
bad.
out. They
It's
didn't
just
play
they're
bad.
not good.
They just have no juice.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
They
Austin
can't solve
Eckler
the
is
game
not a
winner
real
by
running
football.
back.
Yeah.
You cannot employ him as your running back one. You cannot.
How has this dude never had 20 carries in a game? Like, that is
Because
absolutely
he can't
bonkers.
do it. He doesn't
That's
have the
crazy.
stamina, the build, the speed. Eckler's not that guy. But I think the personnel is the issue. And like you were talking about, we want to see him with a good OC. It won't matter. The offense isn't going to change because they're stuck with Allen and Williams and Eckler. There's not going to be, maybe you can draft a receiver in the first round. Maybe he hits, but is one receiver who can actually break a play open gonna entirely transform this offense? I don't think so. Like, I don't know how much changing out offensive coordinators is really gonna help. You're still gonna be relying on Herbert to just, all right, every game you have to be perfect in this, 7 to 12 yard window. This is the only place we're gonna throw passes, and we're just gonna see how precise you can be, which is the worst way to use Justin Herbert. He's got the skills and the talent of Mahomes and Allen. Where you want to put him, I don't care. But like, he has the arm talent and the mobility of those guys. But you want him to be only a pocket passer and to only focus on, you've turned him into 2020 Drew Brees, which makes no sense because 2020 Brees had no arm. Herbert's got a top 5 arm. Like, I don't know where you go if you're the Chargers. I don't know how you improve.
They're totally stuck. I agree completely.
Yeah.
First of all, Austin Eckler, like you said, fraudulent. He's not good. My boy Tyler Weiss, who, on Twitter, if you don't follow him, at Tyler Weiss _, big Chargers fan. He knows ball. Great guy. He's been calling Eckler on his shit since the start of this season, and I've been right there along with him. I mean, I haven't been doing it as publicly, but like in conversations with him, and just, my own personal, like, sitting down watching football. He's not good, dude. He's a great receiver. Don't get me wrong, but if you're a running back that can't run, you can't, like Geek said, you can't be the number 1 back in the NFL. And the Chargers are in a position where they don't have a guy that can step up and replace him. They don't really have an out on Eckler, I don't believe. I don't think his contract's in a position where they can just cut him, and I don't think anybody realistically would trade for a running back that can't run. So you're stuck with him. And then, you, like Geek said, you're stuck with the receivers you have. The only thing I can think they can do is, again, like Geek said, bring in a receiver, kind of be that third guy. Maybe he gets you a bit of juice. Oh no, Geek's hit something. He's made a discovery.
Technically, they could cut him. His dead cap would be 1.5 mil.
Eckler this offseason.
They're not going to cut Austin Eckler. They won't do that.
But they should. Why would they? What reason do they have not to
actually,
cut him?
his cap hit's only 7 mil. Like, just go get a real running back and have Eckler stop using him as a running back. Just make him your slot receiver. There you go. You have a receiver with actual juice.
There you go.
I think that they should be pretty heavily invested in the D-Hop sweepstakes. I think that he would. I think he would
just
work
Mike
well with
Williams.
Herbert in the right scenario.
Yeah,
But
I
he's
agree
like
with
Mike
Geek.
Williams.
He doesn't really fit what they need.
He's better,
but he's like better at
Why
everything.
would you want 2 Mike Williams in your offense, though?
I
Even
don't
if
know.
one of them just
I honestly
happens to be
think
better.
well, one of my
Like, I
hot
feel like
takes-
they can go get a better fit.
One of my hot takes with the Chargers is they should shop Keenan Allen, trade him.
Is anyone going to trade for
No
Keenan
one's
Allen?
taking it.
Right now, he has the most value that he'll have in the next few years, even if it's not much.
That's true, but who wants
Because
him?
if you, I don't know.
Right,
Dude, Cole Beasley
The
has a
Bears
job
are
in
as
the
bad as-
NFL. John Brown has a job in the
Well,
NFL.
Beasley, they
Yeah,
just-
but
you
you're
didn't have to
paying
give
him
up
$1
for
million.
anything for
You're
them,
not
though.
giving up draft
Yeah.
capital. That's
I don't
that's
know,
the
man.
bigger
Like, I
issue,
think
dude.
Somebody would take Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I think somebody would take
I
him.
can tell you, I don't think they would. Listen, I can tell you right now, as a Bears fan, the most fucking wide receiver desperate team in football right now,
You should
outside of
trade for
maybe
Keenan
Baltimore,
Allen. You should
we
definitely
would
do
not
that.
trade for Keenan Allen.
You should trade for Keenan
I know
Allen.
you want us to.
Give
You
him
should
the-
trade for Keenan
Yeah, I
Allen.
was
Give him
gonna
the
say
first
the
round pick.
Packers are gonna trade for
Give him the
Keenan.
first round pick.
That's what
Give him
the
the first
Packers will
round
give up their
pick.
first round pick for Keenan as well.
I mean, dude, yeah, but there isn't much of a path to the Chargers team being any better next year than they are this year. I think it's going to take a long time for them to get over the hump with Justin Herbert, and they're going to have to pay him. And once they pay him, they're going to be even more dead in the water cap-wise than they are now. So, I
I feel
mean,
bad for Herbert.
I feel bad for him too. I think, like I said, in my opinion, Staley deserves another year. I know I was kind of on the fire train. I think that I don't know. One more year, but I think that next year, the bar is pretty high for him, or else he's
I
gone.
disagree.
I'm
He
still
could be
on
at
the
the
fire
fact-
train.
next year.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from, but the fact that they haven't fired Staley and called the Saints and said, here, whatever you want, give us Sean Payton tomorrow.
You said on this podcast last week that wouldn't work.
I was the
Sean
one who
Payton
said
wouldn't work
that.
with Justin
Sean
Herbert.
Payton
No,
would
Yeah,
be
that
dumb.
was him. I'm still on it.
That's dumb. So you want the offense to remain exactly the same? Sean Payton's
Justin Herbert-
offensive style is two-step drop, get it
Sean,
out
are you
quick.
kidding me? Shit.
Yeah, but Justin Herbert
Sean
is a
Payton's
top
smart enough. He would
3.
adapt to Herbert.
Yeah.
It's because he had Breeze the entire time.
And-
He had a quarterback that didn't have a strong arm.
Yeah.
Sean
Breeze
Payton's
had
one
a
of the smartest
really
offensive
good arm
minds.
when he was
Okay,
really good.
And Justin Herbert is a top 3 pocket passer in the NFL, and that is what
Yeah.
Sean Payton likes. Like we talked about how Sean Payton wouldn't work in Denver or Arizona because of those mobile guys who like to play out of structure. Justin Herbert
Yeah.
doesn't move around the pocket
That's
that much. He's
fair.
a top 3 pocket passer in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton would just be like, hey, do the things Drew Brees did, but we can elevate the offense a little bit more because you can throw
Do
the
the-
ball better.
right.
Than
If I'm the Chargers, though, I
think
still
Drew
wouldn't
Brees
want
did?
Peyton. You have to get
Especially-
draft
especially if-
capital. They need
Yeah.
Well,
things.
But
So you're gonna
especially
get
if
a coach,
Fangio-
but your team's gonna stay shit.
especially if Fangio comes with him and as a package deal, that's exactly what they need defensively too. Especially if they were to fire Staley, who's a defensive-minded guy. If they were to get Fangio with him, I think that's a slam dunk for them.
I mean, look, I get the not wanting to give up draft capital thing, but I mean, I just think Sean Payton would impact the Chargers' offense and team as a whole so much that it would be
I mean,
worth
to
it.
be fair, if you were the Chargers right now, they're picking like 4th.
Yeah, what are you taking in the mid-20s?
That is like literally
A wide
exactly-
receiver with juice in another
24th
really
But
deep
this-
wide
but-
receiver class.
Exactly, it's a deep
really
receiver
deep
class.
receiver
It's great.
class. They can get one in the 2nd round easily.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
because
thing is-
I want to wait and end up with the receiver. I don't get to make my pick of receiver. I just end up with whatever the rest of the NFL didn't
I'm
want.
just saying, I would rather have Sean Payton in a second
think-
round receiver than Brandon Staley in a first round receiver in this class.
I think that in this class, the way that this draft is going to fall, by the time they get to 24, any receiver who's worth a first round pick is gone.
I don't know
think
about that.
JSN's gone by 24.
How many receivers in this class are it's a deep receiver class, but how many receivers in this class are worth a first
Quentin
round?
Johnston, I can tell you right now, is not worth a first round pick. Jordan Addison is not worth a first round
Okay,
pick.
you keep saying that based off of what, one game for Quentin Johnston?
No, I've watched a lot of TCU this year because they're one of my family's favorite teams. I don't like him as much as a lot of people do. I think he's big and he's athletic, and that's always a good thing for a receiver. But not to get too much into talking about rookies and draft classes and stuff, but I'm kind of cooled a little bit on Quentin Johnston, not just because of the national championship game, but I don't think he's.
Everybody else can stay sleeping on Jordan Addison. I love him. So, maybe the Vikings
Jordan
will.
Addison's-
Of him to judge.
Jordan Addison's a little bit like he probably will end up. He's like George Pickens. Like he'll be there and he'll probably be good, but he won't play for a good enough team.
Until he gets drafted by the Vikings. No. We're taking a quarterback, so it's okay.
Hopefully.
Hendon Hooker.
Hendon Hooker.
Anthony Richardson, sorry. Them's the rules.
It's true. You pick him before the Giants now, so you'll be able to get him before him.
Yep.
Before them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We,
until the
we
Giants
tanked
trade
for
up.
Anthony Richardson, I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now.
Oh my God.
13-4 tank.
Imagine getting all the way to
Dude.
the playoffs as the 3 seed and going, fuck it, time to
Yeah.
tank.
Well, we watched Kirk play the whole game and just went, we don't have enough juice, so fuck it, we're gonna lose. I think that was
Your
the
word
decision.
of the day.
And we'll get Anthony Richardson to replace Cuzzo, and then our offense will have juice. It'll be great.
Is juice your word of the day?
Apparently,
No.
you said it like 7
I
times already.
say that a lot.
I was gonna say you've said juice like 15 times.
That's what I
already.
do, dog. I'm sorry. Fuck.
All right, man. But yeah,
What's in that cup?
Sweet tea.
juice.
No, sweet tea.
That's disappointing.
I haven't had juice since like October when I was on an airplane.
I wanted it to
apple
be
juice.
juice.
True.
I don't
Goes
have
hard.
any
Anyways,
juice.
Chargers.
We'll talk about the Jags a lot when we talk about the divisional round.
Yeah.
But just one thing to note, and I'm sure you guys agree with this. This game from Trevor Lawrence is exactly why you hired Doug Peterson, because if this had been Urban Meyer and he had thrown 4 picks in the first half, Urban Meyer probably
bad.
would have just been like, all right, Trevor, listen, buddy, I'm gonna have you take a seat. I'm gonna have Blaine Gabbert finish this one out, okay?
Is that where Blaine Gabbert is?
No.
I don't know.
was gonna say,
He's
named
still
Urban
a Buck.
backup. I don't know who the
Yeah,
backup
It's
is.
CJ Beathard.
Oh, CJ.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
Beathard.
Urban Meyer would be like, CJ, you're all in. Go ahead. I mean, he would have done the same thing Trevor did.
Yeah.
But Doug Peterson is just like, it's all right. We're gonna win the football game. Nah, I don't care.
Yeah.
He can throw 5 picks. We'll win the football game.
Fuck
mean,
it, we ball. That's
yeah, like,
exactly
fuck it, we
what
ball.
he said.
And like, I also think that Urban Meyer would have been screaming at them in the locker room after that half, but Doug Peterson probably just walked in and was like, "All right, well that wasn't great, but we're gonna win the football
Well,
game.
that
So
happened.
Who cares?" So this is fine.
No, yeah, I totally agree. Back to the Chargers real quick. I just want to give y'all a statistic that really makes me hate Joe Lombardi. Okay?
Well, does that make you do that?
Yeah. In the first 2 games of the season, Xander Horvath had a 16.2% snap count in the Chargers offense. The rest of the year, an average of 7%. He deserved to be fired based off that alone. Had the hottest rookie
enough.
fullback in football for 2 weeks, and then you're like, let's give this guy less time on the field so we can run the ball with our wide receiver that's in the backfield. That's who their running back should be, low-key. Like, I hate fullbacks not playing fullback, but Xander Horvath's a hard runner.
Yeah,
I would rather him stay at fullback. But I'm saying, if they need a guy in-house...
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy and his
I'm just
fullback
saying.
propaganda.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just mad I posted a video that got 7,000 views in a day about Kylie Juszczyk, and you haven't hit 1,000 views in, what, like 12 years?
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa.
I'm sorry,
I'm not
that
gonna
was
say
too
anything
far.
because I'm saying
That was
both,
too
but,
far. I apologize.
You know,
I mean-
we could get really into this. What's your high? No, we're not. We're not getting into this. We're not getting petty like that. Fucking move on.
Moving
I'm
on.
looking
No,
for
you-
something more
I'm
important.
probably pointing at the wrong person, but he kicks my ass in all forms of content creation.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Moving on. Yeah, so we've exhausted pretty much every piece of slander we can pull out with the Chargers. So moving on, we're talking about, I don't know why I'm forgetting the games that happened this past weekend. We'll talk about the Bills and the Dolphins, because this one was
It made me
a
sad.
little shaky. Josh Allen, buddy, what are we doing? What are we doing, bud? Like that is my big takeaway from this game, is that the Bills will lose the game because of Josh Allen. They will lose in the playoffs because of Josh.
I wouldn't go that far.
No, it will be 100% because of Josh
You're
Allen.
telling me if he
Since
does this
the-
against the Bengals, they won't lose?
Yeah.
Since the Minnesota
Yeah.
game, he has not played a clean game of football.
He is
Minnesota
so
broke
bad,
Josh
yeah.
I don't
Allen.
know why.
Minnesota broke Josh
But,
Allen.
like,
That's what we
Josh
get
Allen
credit
Give
can-
for.
yourself credit for that. Josh
Josh
Allen's
Allen-
always been broken.
Josh Allen in that first game against the Rams this year was legitimately looked like a perfect quarterback.
Yep.
Like, he was getting the ball out in like 3 seconds. He had like a 95% accuracy rate, and now like when he plays bad defense, like the Dolphins secondary is poop. poopy, not great.
Mm-hmm.
And he threw that pick to Xavier Howard. Tony Romo was like, well, actually, John Brown was supposed to be better. No, that was Josh Allen threw that ball way too far inside.
Fuck Tony Romo's commentary.
Dude,
That's so annoying.
oh my God, Romo was pissing me off with the Mr. January and calling the Bills the champs. What if they ever won? Have they ever even won a playoff game? At this point, I'm not
That's
sure.
what I'm saying.
Like,
Oh,
dude, oh my
That's what
God.
I'm saying. Romo's an annoying commentator, but back to Josh Allen.
Sorry.
Yeah,
He got that Favre gene. At the end of it, that's what it is. He's got that Favre gene.
it does.
It sucks. I don't like to say it because I like Josh Allen and I want him to be great, but I just
See, I don't.
maybe this is my big. No, go ahead.
I don't know if I agree with the Favre gene. Favre, most of the time, it was trying to make a crazy play. Josh Allen will, like, most of his mistakes aren't him trying to make a crazy play. It's a routine throw that he just can't hit for some reason.
Okay, fair.
Like,
Yeah, and it's just like I think that I'm very scared for the Bills' Super Bowl chances every year because of his inconsistencies. Because I feel like because he'll run into Mahomes at some point on a Super Bowl run, or he'll run into Burrow at some point in a Super Bowl. And Burrow, we'll talk about him. He didn't play great against the Ravens either. I mean, neither of those two really had that fantastic of a game. It wasn't like bad, but like Allen, I also wouldn't call Allen's game bad. It's just his inconsistencies that are going to cost this team, and it probably
4 turnovers is pretty bad.
Yeah, 4. I thought it was 3. 2 picks and a fumble. Did he fumble twice?
Oh, 2. You're right. I thought it was 3 picks and a fumble. It was only 2.
And the
picks.
fumble was a touchdown. Like that. Like
yeah, Zach Seiler, the most underrated defensive lineman in the league, baby.
That seriously
Great
could have
play.
cost them. And like Skylar Thompson played bad, and like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle dropping everything, and they lost by 3.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
My
no
take
reason they
was
should have won that
correct.
football game.
My take was correct. Had Teddy played, the Dolphins win.
Literally anyone would
Yeah,
have played.
had any-
they probably
had any
Yeah,
win.
but
top 32
no,
quarterback played
but I
that
called
game.
this first. You don't get to try to walk it back and pretend I didn't say this. Fuck you.
Fair
We're not doing
enough.
this.
Yeah.
But he didn't play and they didn't win. So
Yeah, what we're talking about Miami, was anyone else like really pissed at Mike McDaniel for the entirety
his
of that
clock
game?
management sucks.
It was horrific.
Clock
Okay.
management sucks.
New
Absolutely
question.
horrific.
Is it his clock management?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
okay. So
It-
here's what I know.
Partially,
They'd
at
be
least.
in the huddle for 20 minutes, but most of the time while they were in the huddle and not doing anything, Mike
Yeah, but
McDaniel had
also-
already called the play and was just walking. Skyler has to get the play calls off and go.
Yeah, but also like in his post game presser, when they got that penalty on 4th and 1, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, we thought it was first down."
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like, what do you mean you thought it was first
Yeah.
down? Why? I mean, that might have been a miscommunication from the refs.
I was going to say that one kind of makes
but
sense, though, especially because that was the play where they marked it a first down. They did the official
Yeah.
review and moved it, but never announced it. So
I also
as
think
far
he
as
played-
McDaniel knew, it was a first down.
I also think he played too much like Tua was in the game, or he called the game too much and Tua was playing.
Agree with that too. He
Like,
asked a lot of Skylar Thompson.
yeah,
and at the end of the day,
like
he's not
bless his
capable of
heart,
it at all.
Skylar Thompson made that one throw to Jalen Waddle. That Jalen Waddle dropped on the deep ball, but the second he threw it, I'm like, why are we drawing up this for Skylar Thompson? Like, why is this like again?
Like-
Made the throw, Jalen Waddle dropped it, but like Mike McDaniel's like he literally called this game like Tua was playing, and I think they needed to run the ball more. I think the running backs are.
And
Like, I don't hate Jeff Wilson, like
Yeah.
But kind of like Keenan Allen, you can't just feed him 30 carries. He doesn't have the body.
No, you can't, but they ran the ball like,
yeah, but they also have
I don't know, like 12, 13 times total. And they have like 3
no.
running backs they can run.
I mean, Raheem Mostert being out really killed them. If he had played
Oh,
this
yeah,
game, it
Mostert
would have
was
been.
hurt.
Because Raheem Mostert like torched the Bills in the last game, didn't he? That was him, right?
Yeah.
So there were 18
Cool.
run plays. 20 if you count
That's a little
Skylar
bit more than I
Thompson, but I'm
remember.
guessing those were scrambles, and I don't like counting those as
they
rushing
ran-
attempts.
they ran
I-
design
listen,
runs.
I'll tell you straight up. I started this game late because I woke up late and missed like the first quarter, so I'm probably a little off in that regard. But from what I saw, I agree with Jake. I feel like the run game could have been a bigger
Oh, yeah.
factor in their game. I'm not saying you run Jeff Wilson to death or anything like that, but I mean, the fucking offense Mike McDaniel runs, half of the reason it works is because teams are scared of his personnel. He comes out in like 21 personnel and then draws up a fucking pass play, and they're like,
the
"Holy shit!"
same thing as the 49ers because
Exactly.
Which is exactly why like Juwan Jennings was wide open on that one play that Purdy almost killed him.
If you're not going to run the ball, nobody's scared of it. They know you're going to pass it.
Christian McCaffrey, the second Christian McCaffrey moves towards the football, everyone's like, "Oh, got to get there," right?
Right.
Yep. It's the same thing with like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Like everyone sees Tyreek Hill on a deep route, they're like, "Oh, ball."
Yeah.
You know, and like. You're not scared of Skylar Thompson. I'm sorry, but
right, exactly. I mean, listen, I love Mike McDaniel. This isn't me saying like he's a bad coach. I'm coming for his job. It was his first playoff coaching experience. Live and learn type situation. But I do think he shoulders a decent bit of the blame on this one. Because with the way the Bills basically handed them the game.
It was winnable. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the Bills were trying to hand them the game left and right. And if he just would have called things a little bit differently, managed the clock a little bit better, taken a little bit out of Skylar Thompson, like taking a little bit of the game out of his hands and made it more manageable on his end and asked less of him, I feel like this is a different story, and I'm a lot happier because the Dolphins are moving on. Like, it's, again, rookie coach things. I'm not, I'm not head over heels pissed off. That's not a saying. I don't know where that came from. I'm not like red in the face calling for his job, but like you could definitely tell he was a rookie coach. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. You can tell this is his first time here. You can tell that he wasn't ready without Daddy Shanahan holding his hand quite yet. But I do think next year it'll be a different story, depending on what's going on at quarterback, because I'm still not convinced Tua's going to play ever again.
Really?
Fair enough.
You're still in that mindset.
I'm not saying I think it's going to happen, but I do think it's within the realm of possibility.
Oh, for sure. I thought you were saying you think it was going to happen.
No, I'm just saying it's definitely in my mind. I would imagine he comes back next year. But it's still on the table. There's still a realistic enough possibility of it for me to consider what the Dolphins are going to look like next year without him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if they think Teddy's their guy, if they're cool with him moving forward, which if they are, more power to them. I like Teddy. I'm with Geek. I'm not quite as high on him as Geek is.
It's Brady. It was Brady 2 years ago. It's Brady now. It's Brady.
Oh, my Lord.
It's Brady.
Listen, Brady loves his fullbacks. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
He loved James Devlin. Imagine how much he'd love Alec Ingold.
Yeah.
And
he loved Rudy Moss. Imagine what he'd think of Tyreek and Waddle.
I was going to say, Brady's whole thing right now is to get the ball out super quick, right? Dude, being able to throw to Hill and Waddle instead of fucking Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who, I'm doing it again, have no fucking juice.
Nope.
That would be insane.
We're missing the most important piece of the puzzle here. River Craycraft.
God damn it.
White boy slot.
No.
That's Brady's bread and butter. Plus, Wes Welker works for the fucking Dolphins now, doesn't he?
It won't be River Craycraft. You know who it'll be? That's the team who trades for Adam Thielen.
Oh, my God.
That's Brady's little slot guy. It's Thielen.
Brady with Adam Thielen and Wes Welker whispering. Good Lord, I cannot speak today.
Jeez, man.
That
Welker
Dolphins team
whispering and then...
would be incredible. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But they aren't currently. Clearly. I mean, they're pretty good.
I mean, they would have been fine had they had either of their two better quarterbacks.
If they went with a third-string, seventh-round pick, they would have been fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cut and dry there. Bills, a little scary, but talking about the team they're going to be facing, who also didn't play that fantastic of a game and almost lost to Tyler Huntley. It's chalk up to it being a divisional game, chalk up to be whatever you want. But Bengals Ravens, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I missed most of this game because I was working, so I'm gonna let you guys take the floor here. But from what I saw, I can't lie, I was not too impressed with Cincinnati.
So I didn't see much of it at all, but I do have a point for the Bengals that matters. We were talking about the Bills and Josh Allen's, issues and how, well, Burrow didn't play that great either. The difference is Burrow has more weapons than Allen. Outside of Diggs, the Bills' offense is not good. Like, Gabe Davis is okay. He's not a real wide receiver 2. Like, he's a wide receiver 3 that sometimes has the performances of a 2. He's like KJ Osborne, really. Like, he's faster, but like their abilities. Some games they're just not going to appear. The next game they're going to go 12 for $180 and 2 tuds for no reason. It'll make no sense. Yep. And then, but Burrow, I have Mixon. Oh, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Hayden Hurst is like weirdly good this year, and I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. But like, yeah, that's why the Bengals, even when they perform poorly, which Burrow, it's weird. He had like 9 incompletions, no turnovers. Like, he didn't play bad. He just didn't play great.
A very efficient game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of this, like I said, can be chalked up to this being a divisional game. Like, they're going to play their hardest.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Ravens' defense is good.
It's also Harbaugh.
I was going to say the Ravens have a fucking awesome defense. And Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Harbaugh's
it's not
magic.
like Burrow. Yeah, it's not like Burrow was like Allen going up against a bunch of scrubs in the secondary. Like, the Ravens' defense is legit.
Even like
from
Kyle
top
Hamilton.
to bottom.
Kyle Hamilton played a dope game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're all in agreement that Harbaugh is a better head coach than Zach Taylor, right? I mean, like, that's
Yes.
the consensus take on this podcast.
Zach Taylor now. Great dude. But I don't like his coaching and I don't like his personnel.
No, and that's why. Yeah. I mean, it didn't happen last year, but I think that's why the Bengals could fall short if they were to play the Chiefs again. I mean, for some reason,
I don't think they're winning a ring with Zach Taylor.
It'll be tough for sure because they're gonna get outcoached in probably the conference championship game and the Super Bowl 9 times out of 10 if they're in it.
Yeah, but also the Bengals have the best defense of the remaining AFC teams by a lot. I don't like the Bills' defense. I really don't.
Without Von Miller, they cannot get pressure at all.
Pass rush is weak. Corners are concerning.
Which is like the Bengals.
Trey White's back, isn't he?
Yeah, but even Trey White has concerned me this year. He does not look like Trey.
Yeah, and Kyer Elam got hurt against the Dolphins.
Yeah. Yep. The reason I asked about White, though, I agree he has underwhelmed, but my point wasn't like, oh, they're fine, they have White. It was, despite Trey White being back, they're still incredibly underwhelming. The defense is in a really bad spot. The only guy that's like really balling out right now is Edmonds, and we don't even know if he's going to be a Bill next year. So
he has been playing well. I will give him.
Listen, I can tell you right now, I'm somebody who has been very low on Tremaine Edmonds for a long time.
Yep.
He stepped up big time this year. Fucking baller this year. Love him. I'll put it this way. He's to the point where I'm like, okay, Chicago, if he hits the open market, give him money. Bring him here. Because he's awesome. He's a great fucking football player. But like you guys said, no pass rush, no secondary. The defense is in a rough spot for Buffalo. And I agree with Geek. Cincinnati has the best defense in the AFC right now, at least remaining in the playoffs by a wide margin.
Yeah, and I think that the Bengals didn't have much down the field going on against the Ravens. I think they will against the Bills just because that secondary worries me. They don't have Micah Hyde. They don't have. I mean, Trey White's a shell of himself. They don't have Kyrie Elam. They don't have anyone. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. I expect this game to be very high scoring, but yeah.
Real quick, do you guys know how long Tremaine Edmonds has been in the league?
6 years. 5 years or something stupid.
Yeah, do you know how old he is?
24.
Yeah, dude.
25.
Yeah.
It makes no goddamn sense. He's been in the league for a million years, but he's still younger than your favorite linebacker. Like, I hate it.
Right.
Younger than Jack Sanborn.
I was going to say, I don't think he is younger than Sanborn. I think Sanborn's only like 23. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's older.
Oh, Sanborn's only 22.
Yeah.
Oh, he's only 22. Well, that's his teammate next year, so.
True.
There you go.
But, yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, the Ravens, if they had had Lamar, might have won this football game. Like this
Oh,
was.
I think so.
The way that defense played, if they had had Lamar on the opposite side of the ball, I mean, Lamar wouldn't have. I mean, I don't know how much you can blame Huntley for fumbling on that QB sneak play, but I mean, block in the back anyway. Who cares?
Who cares? It would have
my God.
erased an awesome playoff play. I don't
cares?
care if it was a
Yeah.
penalty.
Yeah,
Fumble in
it
the
was
jungle
dope.
is what they're calling it. It's
I love it.
awesome. I love Stan
Yeah.
Hubbard for it.
That was great. And
Dude, I remember. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I had nothing else.
Oh, I was gonna say that play was so hype. I was watching with my dad, and he goes, "He caught that fucking ball, didn't he?" And then it showed the replay, and the ball landed right in Hubbard's hands, and he just took off.
Yeah,
But yeah, Cincinnati's awesome. Speaking of their defense, like their pass rush is deep. Joseph Osai was getting decent reps in that game from what I saw, and he's like what, their third or fourth edge guy.
Yeah, and the team they go against next, the Bills, gave up 7 sacks to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
This pass rush is miles better. Like, this could be a problem.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, listen, look, okay. I feel for Bills fans right now because of the DeMar Hamlin situation. I want them to win something for him. But also, like, my very selfish fuck Bills Mafia, fuck the Bills personality is like, God, I want the Bengals to rip them a new one next week and just eat their innards on live TV. I'm so torn with that.
Yeah.
'Cause like I said, I feel for DeMar Hamlin. I want those players to win for him, but those fans don't fucking deserve anything nice.
Yeah.
Wait, what did Bills fans do?
The amount of Bills fans I saw defend punter who shall not be named was immaculate.
I hate that Bills fans for different reasons than David. Well,
I also just think they're very annoying.
They're very annoying.
Like, I respect the
People in
passion
real
for the
life,
team,
they
but
are
it's to
very
the
annoying.
point. Yeah. Like, listen, I respect their passion, but some of them take it too far. Like, Bills fans are the type of fans that would punch you in the mouth if you said Josh Allen wasn't the best
I
quarterback in
witnessed.
football.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
said,
I haven't been punched in the mouth yet,
Yeah.
and I constantly slander Josh Allen. Like,
But do you
that's
do it
what
to
I
their
do.
faces?
Yeah, like
Yes.
Like, in person?
I said,
Yeah.
dude, I
Maybe
live in
you met-
I live in
okay,
Western
well,
New
you
York.
haven't met the crazies yet.
Yeah, I live in Western New York, man. They're wild, and I witnessed 2 of my coworkers who are Bills fans have a conversation about how they legitimately believe Gabriel Davis is better than Jamar Chase, and
Real.
because
Valid.
he caught 4 playoff touchdowns, and they were just like, yeah, I mean he's better at everything. I'm just like standing there, just like,
Valid. Jamar Chase is overrated. It's
Yeah.
okay.
all right.
What is
Anyway.
it with you against any wide receiver
Yeah.
that is fast?
No.
Every offseason it's new one.
no,
First it was
the-
Tyreek,
no,
now it's
no,
Chase.
no.
He just
the
slandered any
reason
receiver that isn't Jefferson.
the reason that Jamar is overrated is because after his rookie year, people were putting him in the top 3 wide receivers in football, and I don't mean Bengals fans
Oh, it's a
alone.
stretch.
I mean a bunch of people. I'm sorry. If you didn't put JJ in the top 10 after his rookie year, Jamar doesn't get to be in the top 20. Them's the bricks.
Valid.
That's
That's valid.
and you don't
That's
get
valid.
to say Jamar's better than JJ when he's never had a season better than JJ's worst.
No.
So
He's
Jamar is
know what?
overrated. That's not
know
even
what?
me lying. Like
Speaking of
genuinely.
overrated LSU receivers, let's talk about the Vikings and the Giants game, shall we?
Uh-huh.
Who are we talking about there? Odell?
No,
Odell doesn't play for either of these teams.
Justin
Well,
Jefferson.
Justin
Anyway,
Jefferson surely isn't overrated.
yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys talk for first for this one. 'Cause
All
I'm
I
gonna
have
get
to
into
say
it.
is I sat here on this podcast and I told you both that the Giants were going to beat the Vikings, and you were both like, "No, there's no way." I mean, I was like Isaiah Hodgins, and you were like, "No, there's no way." He went for triple digits and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley had close to triple digits in total yards and a pair of touchdowns. Daniel Jones threw for. I mean, I'm not going to say he was elite, but Daniel
not
Jones
good.
played a good game. He's not good, but he played a good game, good enough
He did
game.
play a good game, but he's not a good
Okay.
quarterback.
He's not a good quarterback, but I told you it would happen, and it happened. And like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jumping up and down watching the Vikings lose this playoff game because, man, that was funny. Anyway, Kirk Cousins can't win with Kirk Cousins. I said this a ton, and I think that the man a couple spots over from me believes that true. I mean, I don't know who's a couple spots over from me. It's probably David, but David believes that too. It doesn't matter. Everybody in this podcast believes that. Yeah, the Vikings were frauds. We knew it all along, and they got exposed. Anyway, move on.
Yeah. So I clearly put too much stock into reading and then Geek reinforcing the fact that Ed Donatel said it was time for the veterans to take over this week. Because I was really gung-ho on that. I was like, you know what? Eric Kendricks, Harrison Smith, Zadarius Smith, these are good football players. I trust them. Surely they won't get dotted up by Daniel Jones on national television, right?
And they did.
Surely. And that isn't even like my biggest, like, what the fuck happened? Why did Kirk Cousins catch a pass? Why did this Why was that in your game plan?
Okay, to be fair.
No, hold on. Who went to Kevin O'Connell and said, hey, let's throw the ball to Kirk? They tried that out in practice.
I got a great idea.
It was like, yeah, we're cooking something nice today, boys.
We've run that play before this year. That the play just didn't go
never
right.
Seen it before.
It's supposed to be against man, not against zone. The Giants came out looking like man. It was a great disguise. Because it's supposed to be JJ, pass back to Kirk, then a deep shot. It's supposed to be a deep shot.
That makes more sense.
Like, it was not a throw to Kirk. It was supposed to be that trickery. It just didn't work.
Weird flea flicker.
Yes. It just didn't work.
Really weird flea flicker. Okay, that makes it way better. Because I, for one, I've never seen them run that play before. Clearly, I need to go back and watch more historic
I swear
Vikings
they've run it before.
games.
I swear.
My thought process when I saw that was, expect Kirk to run for a first down there?
No.
What was the expectation? Because, like, listen, I get that, like, ooh, it's the big trickery. We're gonna throw the ball to our quarterback. There's a reason you shouldn't fucking do it, okay? Like,
especially not if it's 35-year-old Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Right. There are maybe like 3 quarterbacks you can get away with that in the NFL.
Oh,
okay,
more than
like
3.
Fields, Lamar. Okay, any of the mobile quarterbacks.
Tyler,
that's fair.
Daniel
any
Jones.
mobile quarterback. Danny Dimes.
They tried it with Brady.
Right. Try it with Brady. It doesn't work. Nick Foles, it worked because he didn't have to run after. He just caught it in the end zone.
That's true.
Yeah.
This ain't the fucking Philly special.
And also nobody covered
What
it.
is this? The fucking Kirk catastrophe? Is
Yes.
that what we're calling this one now?
Yes.
The Kirk catastrophe.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah. So that was the thing, right?
Yeah.
God, I sound like a fucking millennial. I just used the phrase "that was the thing." Ugh. This entire game, I mean, it really was just the Vikings defense, specifically Ed Donatel, just getting fucking outmaneuvered constantly.
Brian
Dable and Mike Kafko were running circles around that motherfucker. Like, I watched this came after the game, so I appreciated it more. But I watched Brett Coleman's video about the Giants' run schemes and how they run things. I hate that they don't use a fullback for it, but my God, it's beautiful. And having that information and going back and watching the Giants and Vikings game, it was chef's kiss, like beautiful. The way they were able to run the ball with Saquon right down their throats. They were able to, like I said, Daniel Jones cooked, and Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback.
Nope.
He's not. Straight up, he is not a good quarterback. And I mean, like, when I say cooked, I mean he looked good to the naked eye, but when you sit down and realize it's just Brian Dable being like, "Hey Daniel, that guy's going to be wide open, no matter what. Just throw it to him." Okay,
I also think that Isaiah Hodgins played a good game.
Yeah, he had a good game. I'm more willing to give him credit than I am Daniel Jones.
He had some nice catches, but yeah.
I mean, literally anyone could have played in that. I know we've said this like 4 different times. Anyone could have done this and it would have been a better result or the same result, but it's true, especially for this. It is the most simplified offense possible, and if the Giants re-sign Daniel Jones because he takes them on the run, it will be fucking laughable.
Props to Brian Dable for figuring it out. Because
Brian Dable is a fucking mastermind. This was a Brian Dable masterclass.
Very few coaches in the NFL are doing this with this roster. I mean, this is insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Mr. Vikings fan, hit us.
So I do want to hit you with the craziest stat. You guys may have already seen it. I don't know. But you want to know how bad Ed Donatel is? The Vikings.
How bad is he?
The Vikings are the only team in the Super Bowl era to complete 80% of their passes, not turn the ball over, not allow a sack, and still lose. Previously, teams in that situation were 47-0 in the regular season and playoffs combined. Do you know how bad your defense has to be to basically have your offense play a perfect game?
Comical.
To play a legitimate perfect game and lose. Like, I know the play at the very end happened with Kirk. I'm going to get into that. But that play should have never needed to happen. Kirk completed over 80% of his passes. Didn't have a turnover. Not one. Didn't get sacked, which is just insane. That our offensive line is, I wouldn't even say it's so bad. We had Bradbury back. Dexter Lawrence is just a bully. He's just a bully.
A very good player.
He's just like that.
He's like that. He's got that dog in him.
We do.
But
Certified.
dude, I think we both got trapped by the veterans are taking over. It didn't look like anybody took over. Nothing changed. Except Daniil Hunter looked even better than he had all year as an actual pass rusher. The amount of times he made Andrew Thomas look silly. The amount of false starts Andrew Thomas committed, never got flagged for, but committed because he's trying to beat Daniil Hunter. That ruling is stupid. The NFL saying offensive tackles should be allowed to move first now.
That's
blah, blah, blah.
Andrew Thomas's
Go fuck
thing.
yourself.
Yeah.
I know. But, like, that shouldn't be how the rules work. And if it is, why did you call Christian Darrisaw for a false start when his ass twitched? Like, I'm pretty sure he
plays
farted.
for the Vikings.
Like,
it's like when
like refs are awful in both ways.
Grabbing his junk, or not grabbing his junk, thrusting his hip. I still can't talk today. My God,
Dude.
Yikes.
He got called for being too sexy. That's what it was.
Dude, it's one of those things.
Exactly what it was.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and blame the refs because that's fucking stupid. Like, the refs suck for both teams all the time. You have to just overcome it, whatever. But, like, the fact that any time Daniil was lined up on Andrew Thomas, he was jumping early, shows you what Daniil Hunter was doing. But, you know, we'd only do that one play a drive and then have Daniil dropping in coverage to cover Isaiah Hodgins. The Darius Slayton drop. Do you know whose assignment Darius Slayton was?
Dalvin Tomlinson.
Daniil Hunter, dude. What is that?
Based.
How fucking
That's what it
stupid
is.
are you as a defensive coordinator to think that's a good idea? I love Daniil. He's a great player. He's a pass rusher. He is not a coverage linebacker.
Not stupid. You're catching the offense off guard when you drop your edge rusher into coverage.
Yes,
That's
because
what
they're
it
so
is.
off guard that they're wide open all the time, and that's how they beat us.
Why do you think Darius Slayton dropped that? He was
scared.
He was so flabbergasted by the fact that
I've
Daniil
never
Hunter
been
was
this open
covering him.
before. Kaput.
It's true, he never has. You're
Credit
right.
though.
Something must have gone wrong.
100% credit to Brian Dable. Like,
Yeah,
Daniel
he's the only
Jones
reason
is
they won the
not
football game.
good. But what they have done is, here's your primary read. I promise you he's going to be open. If somehow he isn't, just take off and run.
Yep.
I mean, he almost had 20 carries yesterday. Fucking whatever day we played football. I don't know. I've been crying.
Sunday.
I've been crying. It's okay. So, like, it's the easiest offense to run outside of maybe what Kyle Shanahan's asking of Brock Purdy. But even then,
it's easier.
It's even easier than that. Yeah.
See, I debate it just because of how good the weapons are in San Fran. Like,
Sure.
That's the difference.
Yep.
I think that's where the difference is. The San Fran weapons are better, but the scheme isn't as easy to execute as Dable's is.
that's fair.
Dable seems like something a toddler could execute with whatever weapons. Shanahan's is something a toddler can execute with the weapons they currently have. I think by comparison, Dable's is technically easier.
But
Yeah.
the other thing with the Giants is I do understand bringing back Danny Dimes because we saw what Dable did with Allen. You've already seen a huge leap from Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's ever going to be
I think
Allen,
that-
but he could take
I
another
think
step.
that there is no reason to move off of him after this year.
Oh God, no!
I
You're
think
not going to have a
he's
draft
not-
pick
he's
good
not a
enough
good
to get a
quarter-
QB.
He's not a good quarterback. They don't have a high enough draft pick. And the thing is, if you think like if they make a divisional round run, let's say the Eagles end it, which they most likely will. Okay, let's say they lose here. If you're that front office, you're saying Brian Dable just let a Daniel Jones led team in one of the hardest divisions in football to a divisional round berth. If they really think they have something, they should probably just do what they can in the offseason and build around Daniel Jones. Okay, because if he's doing this with Isaiah Hodgins as wide receiver 1, they get him a true guy. That defense is playing very good. They're not good on paper, but for some reason they're playing good. I don't know. I think there's very little reason why they should move off Daniel Jones after this year. Next year, probably you go after your guy, but they could even draft a guy this year pretty late in the draft and just have him sit.
Here's the thing, though: if Danny Dimes improves even just slightly, becomes truly an average quarterback with the running threat he has.
Yeah.
You'll also be able to sign him for only like 10 to 15 million instead of 30. You could build an actual really good roster and try to run with Daniel Jones. You really could.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens. I don't know if he has
I see the vision, though.
I don't know how many more steps Danny Dimes can take.
Like if he seriously improves as a passer, just like a pure passer, like next year, or even shows flashes in the Eagles game, I think that they might just say, "Hey, let's build the roster and see what we can do."
Oh, you somehow remuted again, bud. I don't know what you did, but I don't hear you no more.
Yeah, I can't.
I see your mouth moving, but no you. I don't know what this means. We're in a box. You want a box? Put them up. Fuck you. I don't know. I don't know what you want. Still nothing.
No.
I don't know what's going on with Miller, but
let's move on.
No,
to a game
we're not
that,
moving. I never even talked about the Vikings. What are we doing?
You talked about Ed Donatel
A little bit, and then the Giants. Still don't know what's going on with Miller, but
Can you hear me now?
yes.
No.
Hello.
Okay.
I can't
This
hear him.
was the little green box on Discord is
You hear
lighting
him?
up to signify that I am speaking.
I do hear him. Why don't you hear him, Jake? Oh my
I don't know
God.
why.
It's a
don't
skill
hear him.
issue. It's a
It's
skill
a skill
issue.
issue. Fair. Based. No,
I don't know to tell you. Man. Sorry.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. I don't. My Discord
Back.
crashed and then uncrashed. So
Yeah.
Chromebook
Jake, you want
moment.
to try leaving the call and rejoining real quick? Just in and out.
fuck moment. That's what it is.
I'm just trying to get everything working here, dog.
It's because of the Chromebooks.
I can hear him now. Geek, say something about the Vikings,
Okay,
please.
so-
So we can move on.
Okay, so the Vikings. This, as disappointed as I am and as sad as I am, and I still believe. All right,
He doesn't care about your feelings.
this looks goofy. I still believe this team could have beat anyone. I stand by that. We've had this conversation. There's no team in football that this Vikings team couldn't have beat. We've also learned throughout the year that's where the fraud things come from. There's also not a team in the NFL who couldn't beat us. I guess except the Bears. We beat them twice. We But also,
We wanted you to beat us.
but
He's right.
the other
He's right.
thing that is valid is the Bears
Said
have.
Nathan Peterman.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about that game. Even in the first game, outside of Fields, and then Brisker early in the season wasn't there yet. But Fields, Brisker, Jalen Johnson. How many other?
Curry,
Fair.
Mhm.
Kmet.
Komet.
I'm not counting Mooney though. He's a wide receiver 3. Don't care.
He also got hurt and wasn't very
Right.
productive. So
You guys don't.
even if you
You guys
either
didn't
way,
have
I'm
the
not going to
pieces
argue
to
it.
really compete
Yeah.
with most teams. Like that just is what it is. Bears
Still
fans
beat
knew
the
that. That's
Niners,
why
though.
nobody's sad. You know, that's why Bears
Yeah.
fans aren't
They're
sad
chilling.
about how the season went. It's what I've been
We
saying.
were rooting
The
for
reason
first overall pick, baby.
the reason Vikings fans I think have it worse than like Lions and Browns fans, they've never had the expectations. The Vikings have expectations constantly. being terrible when you know you're going to be terrible doesn't hurt. You're just like, eh.
Yeah.
But when you're supposed to be good and you suck, it's awful. But the thing is, going into the season, Kwesi called this season the start of a competitive rebuild. The Vikings are truly rebuilding, and we just went 13-4 and won the division. Next year, we're going to be stuck with Kirk because of his contract, unless a team like the Jets or the Raiders ends up with nobody and panics and just says, we'll take his contract, we'll give you a first, fuck it. Because there is a world where the Raiders and Jets get to draft night, they're not in position to pick a QB, and they're just sitting there. You didn't get anybody in free agency, maybe we give them a call. That's the only way we get off Kirk.
You think you'd get a first for Kirk?
If only from the Raiders and Jets, and only if they panic.
Okay, yeah, full desperation.
If they panic because they don't have a QB, yes.
Right, okay.
Like 100%.
Okay, I gotcha. That didn't process for a second. I gotcha.
I don't think I don't think we'd get a first round pick from just anybody. It would have to be a team panicking because we don't have anything.
Okay. Yeah,
but,
okay, I gotcha.
You know, we're probably going to draft a quarterback in the first round this year because whether you love or hate Kirk, he's 35 or 36. Either way, I think he's 37 when he gets done in Minnesota. We cannot keep extending him and rocking with an old quarterback making $40 million. I get keeping him next year, the contract, it makes no sense to move off of him. Having a rookie sit behind a veteran works really well. Mahomes did it. Rodgers did it. Even Josh Allen did it. Now, to be fair, Tyrod got hurt like 4 games into that year, so Josh Allen didn't get to sit that long, but he was going to. Herbert sat. Baker sat. Everybody sits. Like, normally the really great quarterbacks end up sitting. That's just how it's always worked.
Too, so.
That's
Fields
true.
Sat
Did he?
for like 2 weeks.
Oh, that's true.
Like
I forgot about that.
And then Dalton like jacked up his knee trying to run out of bounds.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
you're cooked. Your logic just said Fields is going to be truly great.
Why am I I've literally argued for that, you fucking moron. What? Fields is still supposed to be the Vikings quarterback, and I hate
Probably is
Pace. I hate Pace for that trade up. I hate him.
Good thing Ryan Pace ever gave us. That's not true. He gave us Cole Kmet. He gave us 2 good things.
God, that fucker. Trading up past us, taking our guy. I hate him.
Oh, how dare he do the correct thing?
Right? What a
Ugh.
piece of shit. If Slick Rick was a better GM, we would have traded up our goddamn selves. I don't get it. If you like the guy, move up. Especially since it would have been 4 picks. Like, you don't have to give up a lot of capital. You just move up a little.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
So I'd just like to point out, don't call the Vikings GM that ever again. That's a discredit to one of the greatest rappers to ever live.
I'm sorry, that's Rick Spielman's nickname. It was Slick Rick. I'm sorry.
I don't accept
them's the
it.
rules. I don't give a fuck
it.
what you accept.
There's only one Slick Rick in my eyes.
I don't care about your eyes. Can I get back to my rant, please?
My eyes are better than yours. Is that why?
Fuck you. Everyone's eyes are better than mine, dog.
It's true.
No, but the bigger thing is next year the team will not be the same, as sad as that is. We talked about it a little bit last week, but Thielen's gone. His wife posted some shit on Instagram that he's gone. Like, wildly gone. Then Harrison Smith is probably gone. Out of all the veteran guys, I think he's the most likely to stay because he's the only one whose contract isn't awful for how he plays. He's still good. He's not completely washed. Maybe that's just because he's smart and knows how to be in good position because physically he might be washed. But we've seen guys do that forever where they just keep playing because they're smarter than you. So, haha. But Eric Kendricks is gone. Zadarius Smith is probably gone. Dalvin Cook is gone. Alexander Madison is gone. Garrett Bradbury is probably gone. Next year's probably not going to be great for the Vikings because we have 4 draft picks. It's not going to be good for the Packers either. Rodgers is leaving, and Jordan Love is awful. So
Rodgers is not leaving. You literally said that earlier.
Rodgers is
Rodgers
leaving.
is not leaving.
He's leaving.
The Lions are winning the division.
Probably.
Bears will finish fourth again.
Probably.
This dude dancing like he's not going to finish
Dude,
last.
It's
Right.
wild to me. Like, this is the worst
That's
offseason
crazy.
ever to have the amount of cap space the Bears have.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
dude,
they're in a terrible
there's no,
spot. They're
there's
gonna
like
suck
2
next
good
year. They have
players
nothing to
total.
do. They literally can't do anything. They're gonna suck. They're gonna sign no free agents. They're gonna suck again. That's
Jake's just
crazy
pissed
to me.
because the Packers have no future, no quarterback, no nothing. They're stuck with.
That's a quarterback.
That's true.
He's gonna retire,
Dude, do the Packers have one player you're excited to keep for the future? Like,
Sean
that
Gary.
will actually.
Christian
Okay.
Watson.
Okay, that's valid.
That's valid.
Gary is valid.
Gary is valid. Christian Watson,
Christian
maybe?
Watson, I'm excited about. Romeo Dubs, I like. Jair, always cool with keeping Jair.
I kind of forget
Okay.
he exists half the time.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know why.
I'm a fan of Aaron Jones. He just signed an extension.
Aaron Jones is good, but the
decided
Packers
to
are
keep him.
stupid and don't want to use him, so meh.
AJ Dillon will not be a Packer for much longer, but I do like him.
To me, it feels more like Jones leaves because you're paying him more money, so you trade him.
Yeah.
Big
And-
Mercedes Lewis guy.
He's not the future, dog. He's a 40-year-old tight end.
He's awesome. I love him.
But yeah,
That boy is a glorified right tackle.
but I'm just mad. Lately on Twitter, people are attacking Kwesi for his draft class last year because they all
wasn't
suck.
bad.
Lewis Seen and Andrew Booth played like 40 total snaps this year combined. Like, we don't know what our 2 highest picks are. Ed Ingram sucks. Okay, so did like every guard we could have got at that point. We took what was best player available at that position, at least, which is what we needed. It didn't work out. Offensive linemen are really tough to get. And Ed Ingram might not be that bad if he would stop stepping on Kirk Cousins. I don't fucking get it.
Ingram, never mind. I can't say anything positive about him. He's
No.
a piece of shit.
He is a
Continue.
terrible human. But
I forgot about that for
Yeah.
him. Continue.
But then, a Caleb Evans played really well when he was on the field. He had 3 concussions this year, which not ideal for a rookie. But,
No, sir.
yeah. Who else? Ty Chandler didn't get a play. And
Break out
Jalen
next year.
Naylor is actually, he might be really good. He's flashed a
Speedy
little
Naylor.
the last 2 weeks. So,
Yeah.
it's too early to say he sucks at drafting. What if Seen and Booth next year are great? Because they really could be. I have more faith in Seen because he got to work with Harrison Smith for a year, at
Yeah.
least. But even then, Andrew Booth got to work next to Pat Pete for a year. We had good
Yeah.
veterans to teach these guys. And Brian Asamoah, when he was allowed to play, was really good. Genuinely
not
really
making him
good.
play actual linebacker. He's playing like a little hybrid role, isn't he?
Not really. Well, most of the time when we'd call him in, it was when we were playing rushing teams, teams with good rushing quarterbacks, and having him as a spy, which is why Sunday
Yeah.
pissed me off so much. Asamoah didn't touch the field. You know who could have shut down Daniel Jones' bullshit? The guy who's faster than Daniel Jones.
Well, they were worried that he was going to tackle incorrectly and snap his neck.
I don't care. We had Dalvin Tomlinson on quarterback spy at one point. What the fuck are we
Big
doing?
brain.
What are we
Big-
doing?
Listen, that's how you throw off the offense. You make
No,
the defensive
no,
lineman do anything but rush the passer.
No.
That's
I
the
still
Viking
do,
way.
though. Dalvin Tomlinson is still the GOAT. Did you see after his, I can't remember if it was a tackle for loss or a sack, but his celebration? The raising the Infinity Gauntlet glove that he wears up and doing the snap. That's his sack and
almost his-
tackle for loss
That's
celebration.
the
It's amazing.
second coolest Marvel-themed celebration in the NFC North.
What is the first?
Travis Gibson drops the hammer every single time. He goes like
Wow.
this, summons Mjolnir, and slams it every time he gets in
Oh.
the backfield. Granted, it's not very often, but when he does,
Also, are we sure it's an MCU themed one?
Yeah, he walked into games before wielding Stormbreaker. Like, he's a
Okay.
full-on Marvel fanatic.
I'm just saying, Thor and Mjolnir exist outside of the MCU. Like, Thor's a...
Okay,
yeah.
look, let me
So
put it this
that's
way.
why I was asking.
What's more likely? He's a Norse mythology buff or a Marvel fan?
I'd say about even, honestly. There are a lot of people.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
Really?
pagans. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, no, it is definitely Marvel. Like, he's talked about it in press conferences and stuff before.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was that popular. Interesting. Okay.
Then today, I'm still pissed though. Why has Ed Donatel not been fired? That's what really matters. What the fuck?
Not
Scares
sure.
me.
I thought he was fired. I thought I just missed it.
No.
That's rough.
Nope.
So KOC and Kwesi came out today and basically said, we're still reviewing everything between coaches, personnel. They're still figuring it out, but it scares me because I see the world where we go, we didn't have the players to fit his scheme, so we got to give him another year. It wasn't the scheme didn't help. Having Daniil Hunter exist as a linebacker doesn't make sense. But, like, the stupid shit he did and never making a single adjustment, not one time, is a problem. And if KOC and Kwesi can't see that, we have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
Sorry, I ranted about the Vikings long enough. We can move on.
Real quick, just to your point about people being out on Kwesi already, that is I think that might just be a trend with rookie GMs right now, because Ryan Poles is getting the same treatment. And, like, I'm not going to sit here and, like, try to dunk on the Vikings draft class, but the Bears draft class was actually productive just because they were able to play. I mean, your guys were hurt. I get it. But, like, Brisker was arguably the best safety, or the best rookie safety in football this year. Kyler Gordon started out rough, but he grew as the year went on. Velus Jones, when he started returning kicks, looked awesome as a return man. And he had that great catch against, I want to say it was the Bills. It was against the Bills where Fields, like, put it in the weirdest spot possible for him to get it, and he managed to make the play. And, like, Braxton Jones, 5th-round rookie, was named to the all-rookie team as, like, a first-team all-rookie tackle. PFF loves him. I know that doesn't mean a lot to me, but I know for some people it does. Just using that out there to pat it for those people. Like, it was a good draft class, but people are mad because he didn't do this, he didn't do that. People just don't like general managers. That's just football. And new guys coming in and doing things they already don't like is going to be bad no matter what. Like, at the end of the day, teams are much more likely to blame executives than actual players. So,
and that's the other thing for both of our teams. Kwesi and Poles were not put into the best situation off the bat.
No,
like,
neither one.
The Vikings are full of a ton of shitty contracts. Adam Thielen has a higher cap hit than Devontae Adams next year. That's a problem. Like, Slick Rick did not leave Kwesi a good team to rock with here. And, like, you got to make the most out of it, which they did, because obviously. But, like, and then the Bears, your roster was already not that good, and he comes in and, well, we're not that good. You didn't have any money last year, so you don't really get to add that many pieces. So you know you're going to suck, and then people are mad that you suck. Like, you knew you were going to be bad.
Right.
Like,
I think we're dishing out like $60 million in dead cap, I think, or something absolutely atrocious like that. So we're still, we're kind of in the same boat in paying old players, except ours just don't play for us, which is funnier.
Yeah.
But yeah. No cap space, made the smart moves, traded Mac because Mac needed to go. Love him to death, had to go. Traded Robert Quinn, love him to death, needed to go. Traded Roquan Smith, needed to go. Like, he did all of the correct things, but because the Bears didn't prioritize wide receiver or didn't prioritize O-line in the draft, which, like, granted, yeah, maybe you could have taken George Pickens over Kyler Gordon or something, but, like, at that point, you're kind of nitpicking. Like, if you get a productive player, you get a productive player. I'm not going to be mad at that. Just because their ideas of what the biggest needs on the team were differ from yours, it's whatever. Like, yeah, you can complain about it, you can disagree. I'm not saying the GM always knows best and you have to blindly follow what they do. But, like, if it's working, it's working.
Give him more than 12 months, though, before you decide he's awful. For me,
it took the Bears fans
executives
3
take
weeks.
3 years to figure out whether they're good or not. Because your first 2 years are getting rid of what the guy before you did to your team. Like,
right, exactly.
2025 is when I'm evaluating how Kwesi did. Not this year, not next year. How are we at the end of 2025?
Right. Whatever week it was, Pickens made that crazy Thursday night football catch. That was when every Bears fan gave up on Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, Pickens is going to be good. We knew this, but I mean, we have seen Pickens get a little feisty on the sidelines and not agree with his coaches, and that was kind of why we didn't take him, is because our team is supposed to go the no-nonsense approach, which, like, you know, you can like that, you can hate it, whatever. At least there's rationale for it, is where I'm at with it. Like, at least it's not just like, we saw him and we didn't think he was good enough. It's, we saw that he isn't the friendliest and easiest to work with, and that's not going to fly with our coach, so we're going to send him, or we're going to let him go elsewhere. Like, it is what it is. Plus, if we draft like JSN or some shit this year after trading down, it won't matter.
Valid. All right. What are we talking about next, Jakey boy?
Let's move on to a game that you guys both swore up and down I was wrong about too. Cowboys just making the Bucs look silly. Okay.
I thought Geek was on the Cowboys side and you were with me with the Bucs.
No.
No, it was the opposite. Me and Geek got into a huge Twitter argument about how it was very clearly the Bucs in this game. How the Cowboys are the same old Cowboys. Geek muttered those words last episode.
They're still the same old Cowboys. I don't care.
Guess what? Dak Prescott played a fantastic game,
and
their offense played a fantastic game. Brett Maher, don't know what Brett Maher's got to get that figured out if they want any shot at the Niners. But
dude, Brady's weird magic bullshit is what happened to Maher.
Yeah, but this Tampa Bay offense did exactly what I expected them to do. Only ran the football a handful of times. When they did, they were not productive doing it at all. They didn't establish a good run game. Brady, I mean, he's not washed, but they don't have the juice anymore. I'm going to pull a Geek and say juice. They don't have the juice anymore on offense. There's no way that they could have. I knew that wasn't going to happen. It didn't happen. Brady didn't play a bad game, but, like, he could have been a lot better. And the pick was bad. The pick back of the end zone could have had a momentum shifting game, like lead taking a touchdown. That was pretty bad, but it's very clear. It was very clear that the Bucs were just not anywhere near as good of a team as the Cowboys are. So here we are.
On the Brady thing, I really don't like. Brady definitely missed some throws. I'm not gonna say he didn't. This was definitely the first time I've watched Brady and went, man, you are not helping. But I'm also not going to pretend that he was the problem. Like, he had to throw 66 times, and he only completed 35, which isn't great. That's 31 incompletions for those of you at home. I would argue 16 of those are wide open receivers who dropped it. Like, there's only so much you can do when Godwin decides, I don't like the football anymore. It scares me. Like, there's only so much you can do. Or
like when he hit that, or almost hit that deep ball to Mike Evans after the onside kick, and Evans dropped that shit.
Yeah.
Like, it was a bad game for everyone.
Dude,
it wasn't just Brady.
I called that play, too. I was like, they're sending Julio and Mike Evans deep. Brady's hitting one of them for the one-play touchdown, and somehow the Bucs are going to come back. I saw him load up on it, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then fucking Evans drops it. And I go, God damn it.
Yeah.
I thought I called it. I thought I had spoken into existence.
I mean, like Geek said, this is, I just want to put this in perspective real quick. I got a little bit of backlash with this on Twitter because people don't like the Buccaneers, or not the Buccaneers, they don't like Tom Brady, which, like, I get it. You know, people don't like winners. It's fine. But 46 years old. Yep. Tom Brady is 46 years old. He's officially been in the NFL longer, or he spent more time in the NFL than out of the NFL in his lifetime. Like Geek said, this is the first time in his career I have watched him and thought, okay, you are not doing what you need to be doing. You are not helping. Yeah. You are a net negative. Do you know how fucking insane that is?
That's nuts.
Can we just put that, like, I feel like that wasn't appreciated enough, and when I tried to bring it up, I was slandered up and down because people don't like Tom Brady and they'll nitpick the littlest bullshit. Whether you like the man or not, appreciate his greatness. I fucking hate Aaron Rodgers. Probably the most talented quarterback I've seen play. Him and Mahomes are 1 and 2.
I was going to say Mahomes now has the argument.
Yeah.
At least has an argument now.
Yeah, I actually might sway Mahomes. But either way, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been watching football for a fucking decade now. Like, that's big praise. It's insane to me. And even then, like, there's still potential for this man to come back and be okay next year or be what's the word I want? I don't want to say game manager, but like a productive quarterback.
Yeah.
A quarterback that's going to actually win you games on the right team. It's just the Buccaneers suck.
Yep.
The defense couldn't do jack shit. Like Jake said, they couldn't run the ball. Leonard Fournette is washed, and he's what, 29?
He was never that good. He was never that good.
Yeah.
There's
Not
not
in
been
the
a
NFL.
NFL when he was that great. Yeah.
He's one of the greatest college running backs ever, but in the NFL, he wasn't that guy.
Playoff Lenny fooled people.
Yep.
That run last year.
Well, that playoff Lenny and 2017 playoff Lenny have fooled people.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about 2017 playoff Lenny. You're right. The wide receiver room has no juice. I'm going to be the third fucking person to say it. It has none.
No
the
juice.
tight end room isn't that good. The offensive line is beat up. Like, you threw a 46-year-old man out there and said, hey, literally everything is going against you. Throw the ball 60 times and beat a good defense with a quarterback that's cooking on the other side of the ball. Go do that.
Yeah.
And they expected something positive.
Amen. Dak needed
He did.
this
I am
badly.
so happy for
There
that.
have been some nasty narratives about this guy. Just because he led the league in turnovers. Like what is Josh Allen doing on every single
Hicks are the
Sunday?
most overrated, Hicks are the most overrated stat for quarterbacks.
Dude, Dak.
I see the
like,
vision.
He's up there as a pocket passer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. Like, he's up there. Like, he's right there with Herbert and like Mahomes. I don't know if Mahomes is a good passer from
If we're
anywhere.
talking true pure pocket passers, Herbert, Burrow, and Dak are the three best.
Yep.
And
Mahomes
and
isn't
then
a pure pocket guy.
technically,
Dak is just ridiculous.
And then it would be what? Brady or Kirk at 4? Who you putting at 4?
I'm still taking Brady.
Brady over Kirk.
So so Kirk's 5, because So
And
there aren't
then,
many pocket passers left.
Or Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Maybe.
6.
God.
I mean, Rodgers is better than all those guys.
True.
He's not like
Okay.
Are we calling him a pure pocket passer?
I don't know.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Even now at 40, he's scrambling around too much.
I'm moving around, dude.
Moving around. I shouldn't say scrambling, because that means you run 4 yards, and he doesn't go past the line of scrimmage. He just runs around.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing with Dak, though, the reason why people don't talk about Josh Allen the way they do Dak is because Dak doesn't...
Racism.
No. It's because Dak doesn't do the over-the-top shit. He's not... He doesn't...
Not a flashy guy. No.
Right. Josh Allen, the reason he gets away with it is the arm talent and the flashiness of it. It's like, of course you're going to make some bad plays when you're carrying an entire offense. And with Dak, he's just five-step drop, quick pass. Yeah,
Dak's wide receiver 2 is Michael Gallup.
Who's better than Gabe Davis?
I was going to say, Gallup's not bad.
Dalton Schultz is better than Dawson Knox.
Gallup.
The Cowboys' offensive line is 20 times better than the Bills'
Jake,
line.
I don't know why you're so low on Dalton Schultz. I saw that on Twitter the other day. I don't get it.
Dawson Knox is not good.
Dude.
Like,
I don't think he's terrible.
No, he's not. Dawson Knox is not better than Cole Kmet. You did not just say that.
I think that he is.
You're on drugs.
He's more talented than Cole Kmet.
You're on drugs.
I agree with Geek.
What?
Okay.
No, I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
I want to know what your thing with Knox is.
I just hate Cole Kmet. I think he's bad. Sucks.
Yeah, he's biased. We got him, boys.
Gotcha.
I don't think Cole Kmet's a top 10 tight end. Maybe Schultz goes in there instead of Knox, but I think I'm pretty valid for the other 9 at least.
So Dawson Knox somehow, with way more targets ended up with less catches, less yards, and less touchdowns, playing with a worse quarterback and being the number one weapon on his team. I love Fields, but you're not going to get mad at me for saying he's worse than Allen. We're not doing that.
Not by any means.
Like,
I mean,
I'm not a Knox guy. He's never, I don't know. He doesn't move me.
I mean, Kyle Pitts had less targets, yards.
Different though. We all know Kyle Pitts was like being held hostage.
Right, it's the Falcons holding him hostage. Dawson
Yeah.
Knox is expected to be the second weapon for the Bills.
I was going
and
to say,
he doesn't
exactly. Outside of
accomplish
Diggs,
that.
who is taking targets from Knox?
Right? Like,
Gabriel
he's
Davis.
supposed to be
He's getting more
Hawkinson
targets.
for the Bills, but he's not close. Like, that's what the
Bingo,
Bills want him
exactly.
to be, is what the Vikings have done with DJ.
We'll see.
Yeah, like,
We'll
realistically,
see.
since we're on the topic, right? Who are we
I love
taking
it.
over Komet? We obviously got, like, Kittle, Kelsey, Hawkinson, Goddard, Schultz,
Pitts,
Waller.
Andrews. Do
and
not forget Mark Andrews.
Andrews. Yeah, you're right. I'm just forgetting names.
I
Yeah, I know.
personally,
Andrews, and then what? Like Evan Ingram?
I think
and
Evan
even
Ingram,
then, that's, like, close.
Yeah. It's very close, but I am personally slightly have Pat Fryermuth over him. Slightly.
See, I don't...
I can't. I'm
yeah.
not a big Muth guy.
So for me and Geek, Komet's at, like, 9 or 10.
Yep, I agree.
I don't hate you for saying that. It's just not my take.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, the only thing I have an issue with is the Dawson Knox one, because like
Agreed.
he's been disappointing
I'm probably
for
too high on
years.
Dawson Knox, but I like Dawson
Yeah.
Knox a lot.
Like,
Fair enough.
I can entertain Ingram, I can entertain Muth, but Knox...
Knox is tough for me. I just I don't know, but
I don't know how we got here, but the Cowboys, yes, good team, good team.
goddamn. Yeah.
Not here because you said Schultz
okay
was in the top
weapons.
10 tight end.
Oh yes, that's how we got here. That's how this all
I don't
started.
know, man.
But
I don't
it doesn't.
care.
That's not important. Arguing
Yeah,
over
anyways.
tight ends 9, 10, and 11 is kind of stupid.
Yeah,
Let's
this
move
is
on.
really just
Matters to me.
Well, yeah, because Komet's your
says something
guy.
about you.
Remember when we had a legit argument? Jake, I don't know if you were there or not, but do you remember when me and
Probably
Miller
not.
had a legit argument about who was going to be better this year? Komet or Irv Smith?
I definitely heard about that. Yeah.
That I think that was definitely answered.
Didn't Irv
Vikings
Smith have a
traded
drop in the Giants game too?
Yes,
He did, didn't
multiple.
He? Yeah,
But he also
Yeah,
caught
he
a
sucks,
touchdown in the
man.
Giants game. Like,
that's true.
I don't
yeah.
fucking get it. But like, that's the thing. Like, that's how you know Komet's better than Irv, because the Bears didn't go trade a second-round pick for Hawkinson. We did.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if we had any faith in Irv at all, we wouldn't have done that. But we're like, no, Hawk. We want Hawk.
Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about Cowboys Bucks as we transition into talking about Mr. Purdy? I suppose we should, right?
Yeah, let's
Suppose we should.
transition. Did this dude go put on a fucking Cole Kmet jersey?
Yeah, talking about a tight end better than Cole Kmet. George Kittle and the 49ers moving past
Yes.
the
That's
Seattle
valid.
Seahawks. This game, it did not start out too hot for Mr. Purdy and the Niners, but
Dude,
we
I
all knew was
jinxed
gonna
it
happen.
so
They ran
hard.
away.
I jinxed
And
it
guess what?
so hard.
Yeah, I
Oh my
thought this
God.
was supposed to be the second you tweeted that it was over.
Dude,
the Niners
it went downhill the next play after I hit send,
Yeah,
dude.
Absolutely
Oh my
ridiculous. You can't make this stuff up,
Dude, I did. I
hey,
tweeted, I was
hey,
like, I
man.
thought this was supposed to be easy for the Niners, and then fucking...
I mean, yeah, I'm saying this right now, and I'm sure you both agree. Pretty not good, not good
No.
quarterback. Did not play a good game at all.
He's
This
like
was
Taylor
bad.
Heineke in a better
And, like,
system.
Yeah, but this just
But he's
proves
worse
what
than
me-
Heineke, because Heineke
yeah,
at least
but
has
this just-
mechanics.
This just proves
Yeah.
what me and Miller were saying when we were talking about the Niners originally, is that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
he played awful.
CMC had like a 70 something yard rush. Deebo Samuel took a 74-yard crossing route to the house. Brandon Ayuk open on every play. George Kittle is open on every play. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he gives the ball
for
to.
Trent Williams. We're just
Kyle-
naming accomplishments. Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk blocks whoever he wants to, and nobody can stop him.
Yeah.
Nobody is safe.
And so, like, nobody is safe. And literally, I don't see any. Somebody will, I'm sure, but
any of the teams
Cowboys should
remaining in
give
the
him a
NFC
run.
will beat
The
them.
Cowboys should give him a run, but I think the Niners are, in my opinion, we'll talk about the divisional round hopefully in a bit.
Yeah, we need to get there, hopefully.
But I think that we will see the 49ers in the NFC Championship game, at
I
least.
think we'll see the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
I
There's a
don't.
good chance.
I told you, I'm sticking with it.
No, so-
Defense wins championships, man.
Right, and look at their defense. Look at what Geno was doing to them with a bad offense early in that
I
game.
wouldn't necessarily call DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett bad offense.
No, I just mean overall. Their O-line's not good. Okay. Their O-line is not good. The Seahawks O-line is not good. They don't have any receivers outside of... Apparently, I'm Miller, Miller's Jake, and Jake is me.
I got the stupid Chrome.
There we
Back to
go. It's
this
fixed.
again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank God. I don't want to be Jake.
You were
That's my
Jake
worst
for a
nightmare.
minute. That was
That is
different.
my worst.
Dude, I
nightmare.
should not even be on this show. I don't know why I'm here.
What do you mean? We love
It's
you.
ridiculous, bro.
What do you
My
mean?
I just don't like the Packers. If you were a fan of any other team, I would not say that. I promise. I just would hate being a
talk about the
Packers fan.
Niners. You
Okay,
weenie. Talk about the
I'm
Niners.
I'm
Go
back
ahead.
to it. Okay, let me.
Yeah,
all
let's
right.
talk about the Niners. This
So-
is the first time they're moving on, and they didn't have to play the Packers. So
That's
good for
true.
them. They didn't have to beat the Packers.
Oh my God!
and they're out
Why
to
are
the
you
Super Bowl.
bullying Jake? You're a
Packers would
bully.
have beaten them. I stand by that take.
I think they might have.
I don't think they would have.
No,
I really don't
dude.
think they would.
And I
We're
don't
not going to
think
talk about the Packers and the Niners. No.
Yeah, okay, let's not talk
the
about
Niners
the
aren't
Packers.
getting past the Cowboys though. The Cowboys' O-line's
I
too
think
good.
they are.
They cannot just
I think
rush
they are.
for
To
and
be
win.
fair, this is
They
a
cannot.
very good transition into talking about the divisional round.
Yeah.
If we
Let's do
unless we
that
wanna
game
talk about
first because
Geno.
Geno played
Anybody
fine.
Seahawks related comments?
Geno played fine.
They got a good future. Good for
They do.
them. You know, we didn't expect them to be here,
I
and they
mean,
exceeded expectations.
they have a good
but
future.
Eventually,
I
but
love
eventually
Geno, but
had the right back.
yeah, I have a good. They have a good future, but like, let's not pretend like their quarterback future is great. I mean, Geno's not going to be around forever, and then what do they do after him?
How old
You'd
is
go
Geno?
draft 31.
33.
I was gonna say you can still get a couple decent years out of Geno if he keeps
Yeah,
playing like this,
probably.
man. They got
But,
time to
yeah.
find a quarterback to develop behind him.
Yep.
They have a good future, and
They've
Oh,
got
yeah.
what, a top 7 pick, or is it the 5th pick?
Top 5, I think, because of the Broncos.
Broncos I think is
Yeah,
the
they got-
4th pick.
Something like that.
But they
No,
not
it's not
the
4th. 4th is
Cardinals.
the Colts.
Yeah. So I think it's the
It goes
5th.
Bears, Texans, yeah, 5th. Okay, they top 5 pick and another first rounder, and they've got some
Jeez,
promising
man.
young pieces.
Yeah, they could get a
And they've
QB
got
this
quarterback
year.
that they can- Yeah,
Oh my
I mean,
God.
depending on how Trey Lance pans out, they're competing for that division next year.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
so sticking with the 49ers and moving to our next fun part.
The divisional round, yes.
Yeah, because I was in the middle of talking about this anyways. So sorry, I'm doing our header thing at the top and it broke my brain trying to type and talk about two different
Oops.
things. So
I'm taking the 49ers.
I'm not.
I also
I'm just
taking the
gonna
49ers.
keep picking against them because the back end of that defense is not good. Defense does win
They're not
championships, but that back end will not win you a championship. Geno diced them until suddenly his own offensive line started giving up. False start. Suddenly it's 1st and 30 every drive. Like, what do you want dude to do? Like, the second half, everything broke down for that Seahawks offense. Except Geno, he was still finding guys sometimes. But, like, there's only so much the Seahawks can do. They're not fully there yet. Like, they were playing with house money to even be here when you expected to be one of the worst teams in football. Like, GG, good for you. You had a great run. And
Yes.
for 50% of this game, you gave them a run. Like, you were in it. But the back end of that Niners defense is atrocious. And
Yeah.
against a team like the Cowboys this week, you're going against one of the best offensive lines in football. You can't just rush 4 and get home now. It's not going to work. Because,
Yeah.
so,
And I do think
go ahead.
I do think that it's the same reason that I'm picking the Niners is the reason that you picked the Bucks, Geek, because we talked about how stupidly bad that Cowboys secondary can be.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust that back end of the Cowboys defense against those
That's
weapons.
a good point.
I mean, Brock Purdy is going to be throwing to wide open receivers all day again. Because sure,
Yeah.
maybe they find maybe Trayvon Diggs does a decent job on Debo. Brandon Ayuk is a better pure receiver than Debo is, so we'll take
Yeah.
that. Okay,
George you got to worry about Kittle. You got
Yeah, George
CMC.
Kittle,
You got
who's
Juice.
covering
Dude,
George Kittle on
can I
on that
change?
Cowboys defense?
Have we made our
Look,
official predictions
and
yet?
not only that,
Mike
but what was
McCarthy.
the biggest? What was the big reason the
Mike
Buccaneers
McCarthy.
were struggling on offense? Could they not establish?
The run game.
It was one of the best running offenses in all of football, with an elite running
Niners.
back, an elite fullback, a wonderful offensive line. I get where you're coming from, Geek, and
No.
I'm like that's
The
why I
Niners
think it'll
aren't
be a
getting to
good
the
game.
Super Bowl with Purdy and that secondary, I promise. But dude, I don't know who to pick.
Taking them?
My head hurts.
I'm going with the Niners all the way.
Going
I
with the
have
Niners.
zero faith
Rose
in
Miller.
both of these teams. Who am I
Right.
supposed to pick?
Put something on the
Listen,
graphic
I
here,
have
bud.
faith in Purdy as long as everyone else around him is cooking, and they're not showing any signs of
No,
stopping
because
around him.
eventually Purdy. The issue is you need a defense, and that's the thing here. The Cowboys might be that defense. You know how the Seahawks could have won that game? The first 2 quarters when Brock Purdy couldn't hit a throw. Any of the times your defenders had a chance to get a turnover, force a turnover, the ball was luckily falling in dead man's land, or you'd get like a single hand on it as a corner. Like maybe a team like the Cowboys with Trayvon and Micah and Malik Hooker, who is a good safety. That's about it for their safeties. But Miller's gone now. So now I am both myself and Miller football. Jake is just Jake, though. Kind of. Just your forehead exists. So. Oh, now I'm Miller football, and Miller football is the Geek Slays.
Once he turns his camera on, it should work.
Oh, it'll fix everything. It's just funny. Hello?
Hello?
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not like me.
We switched lives again, Miller. It was me and
Yeah,
you
they
that
don't
switched
like
this
me.
time. But no, I don't know. If the Cowboys defense can take fuck it, I'm picking the 49ers.
I'm picking the Niners.
I can't pick
Okay.
Mike McCarthy to win a fucking game, dude. I can't.
And that's another thing, yeah. Mike McCarthy versus Kyle Shanahan. I'm taking Shanahan 10 times out of 10 and twice on Sunday.
But I like to
combined two
pick
sayings
based
there, but
off
I don't care.
quarterback matchups. So I want to
That's
pick
valid.
Dallas because Dak is so much better than Purdy. But like
Right.
the coaching
Tough, man.
discrepancy, it's
Listen,
tough.
Listen, I hate to be that, like, neutral ground guy, but generally speaking, every game can go either way this week. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a very, very competitive weekend
Yes.
of football.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, even if you do go Dallas, I'm not going to chastise you for it, like I would have last week when we both were wrong and Jake was right twice.
Yeah. Dude,
Like,
Jake owned us last week, and I don't
6
like
for
it.
6. 6 for 6.
And that's why I've been giving him such a
I went
hard
4
time
and
today,
2.
is to make up for that. I'm insecure about my picks, so I must bring Jake
No, I
down
went
to my
3 and
level.
3. 3 and 3.
Let's keep it rolling in the NFC. Eagles Giants. This game is nowhere near runaway for the Eagles, in my opinion. I think the Giants
I
will give
don't
them a
think
good
it is
fight.
either.
The
Yeah.
divisional game, they're going to play their hardest. They're coming off a win against one of the better teams in the NFC. And Jalen Hurts has not played. He did play in Week 18.
I don't
See?
believe so.
Yeah, he played in
he
Week
hasn't-
18 against the Giants.
Oh yeah. Duh.
It
Because
is like
remember, the
one-
Giants
one-
played their
feels like a
starters
year
against
ago.
the Eagles. Or
Yeah,
the
I don't-
Eagles starters played against the Giants backups. Sorry.
Week 18 was a
Which is
blur.
good.
Man. I don't remember most of
Yeah,
what
I don't
happened.
remember much. But I am gonna kick this thing off by saying I'm still gonna pick the Eagles. I like them a lot. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think that there's a chance that they end up in the Super Bowl. I think it'll be them or the Niners. The Giants are gonna give them a fight, but I think Dable might be a little better, but I think the gap between him and Sirianni is not that big. But again, it wasn't that big between Dable and KOC either. So who knows? I think that I think that this Eagles defense will be able to handle. I like their linebacking core a good bit. I think they'll be able to handle Daniel Jones a little bit better than the Vikings could. I think their pass rush is a lot deeper than the Vikings is, although they might not have the high end talent that the Vikings do. I don't know if they have anybody as good as Daniel Hunter, but like, first of all, the Eagles use their pass rushers in a way that doesn't make them
That
stupid.
allows them to rush the passer.
And second of all, like I trust the back end of that defense a lot more than I trust the Vikings, so I think they will be okay. And they beat them twice, so I mean, history repeats itself. I like Jalen Hurts. I like the Eagles. They're good.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in defense wins championships. Like, I will push that till I die. I don't care that the NFL's trying to get rid of defense every year by implementing new bullshit. But the Eagles' defense, on paper, just in terms of talent alone, is so much better than the Giants' defense. Like, yeah, the Giants' defense is playing good. They're playing with heart because Wink Martindale's a great defensive coordinator. But they just don't have the personnel to keep up. Eventually, something's going to happen on offense where A.J. Brown's going to break off something huge, and then the, change of possession, and the Eagles' defense is just going to put Daniel Jones in a box. It's going to happen. At some point, Daniel Jones is going to get stopped by them. No matter how much Dable schemes guys open and figure things out, eventually the Eagles are going to adjust to that. They're going to stop letting guys get wide open every single play, and Jones is going to have to make his own reads. He's going to have to do his own work, and he just can't. And like Jake said, the linebacker are a lot better. They're not going to let him run the ball 20 times this game effectively. The corners are a lot better. They're going to do a lot better against these weak receivers the Giants have. Their run defense is better. Saquon's probably still going to have a good game, but he's not going to be able to like single-handedly carry the offense like he would if Jones was to stop.
And again, I think he's going against a better defensive line. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Eagles' defensive line runs like 15 players deep at this point. Like, it's just the big discrepancy between the defenses, and I think that's going to be the key for the Eagles this week.
what
So,
do we think, Geek? Are you going to be the
obviously
the
taking
advocate
the
here?
Eagles. I picked them to get to the Super Bowl in the preseason.
Good, man.
I picked them to get to the Super Bowl last week when I made my YouTube video doing my playoff predictions. Like, I've been on the Eagles train since before the season started. I'm not going to get off now. But I think you guys are overselling the Giants again.
In what way?
Okay, so let's think about just going back to the game last week against the Vikings. The Vikings actually did a pretty shockingly decent job of not letting Saquon run all over them. He only had 56 rushing yards. The Eagles' run defense is miles better than ours. The Eagles' secondary is miles better than ours. This has all been said. But the Giants' defense, just let Kirk Cousins play an almost perfect game against them. Hurts is better.
Yeah.
And has better weapons. Yeah. JJ is a better receiver than anyone on the Eagles. But Devonta Smith is a better receiver than anyone on the Vikings outside of Jefferson. Hawkinson destroyed that defense. Goddard can do the same thing. Then you have A.J. Brown and Devonta and Quez Watkins. Like, they have a speed factor that Minnesota doesn't.
Yeah. And I also think that, like, I'm not saying that their individual players are necessarily better, but I think that the Eagles' run game is definitely a lot better than the Vikings is.
Because the Eagles' O-line's so good.
I'm not necessarily saying Miles Sanders is better than Dalvin Cook, although this year
there
he
might be an
been.
argument.
And obviously Jalen Hurts is way better than Kirk Cousins, so their run game is way more effective. And the Giants didn't really have to worry about that last week because Dalvin Cook is a shell of himself. It seems like Kirk Cousins can't move, and Alexander Madison doesn't get enough of a snap share to like really threaten a defense.
Madison didn't have a rush, not one.
Right,
did not have one carry.
So like they don't have to worry about that. Didn't have to worry about that. I guess that Dexter Lawrence is good and Kayvon Thibodeau is good, but once a running back or Jalen Hurts gets past that first line of defense, it's ball game because their linebackers, who I don't even know who plays linebacker for the Giants. I can't lie to you, I can't even name.
They cut Tay Crowder, so like who's left?
Jalen Smith is starting for them. That's why I know that's right. Be a good game. Jalen Smith is starting for them.
And the other thing is, Kirk played a nearly perfect game. While being pressured constantly. Our O-line is Swiss cheese. As good as Dexter and Leonard Williams and Kayvon are,
that Eagles O-line
is different.
Yeah.
Now, the tackle, well, for Kayvon, his pass rush ability isn't really going to change because Darisaw and Lane Johnson and Mailata are all in that upper echelon tier of tackles in the NFL. So Kayvon's day is going to be about the same. But Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams now have to work against Jason Kelsey. And it's just not going to be that good. Who the heck? What? He's doing something. He's scheming up there, and I don't like it. Fucking Miller. But yeah, I got the Eagles, and I don't think it's going to be that close, especially with the Giants coming off the high of that playoff win last week.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that before with a team riding the high of a close victory and then going into Philly. Last time it ended 38-7. We'll see how that goes this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's again, that's a pretty cut and dry consensus take from us. I think this one we might have some splits on. Bills Bengals. I am going to start off by saying that I am taking Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in this one because I really think they're, like I said this on the last episode of the podcast, the first episode of the podcast. I think they're the most complete team in the AFC still, and I think that there's a tiny bit of reason to concern against the Ravens, but also played a very good defense, played a divisional game, played a very good coach. I like Sean McDermott, who for some reason nobody ever talks about Sean McDermott ever. Like when you talk about the Bills, nobody ever even mentioned Sean McDermott. So I don't really know what I think of him as a head coach, honestly. But I think that Josh Allen, I think that this defense is better than. Like we said, the Bengals defense is the best defense up in the playoffs. And so I think this is a tough matchup. If Josh Allen throws one pick against this defense, it's probably over. And again, I think they're going to regain their down the field stuff pretty against a Bills secondary that's pretty beaten up. And I think I'm taking the Bengals.
Oh, apparently I have the floor. Cool.
Seems like it.
I gotta, as much as I think the Bengals probably do win, I'm sticking with the prediction I made preseason and last week. I'm still picking the Bills, dude. I don't care. Because that's the thing with the Bills.
Okay.
While Allen had an awful game last week, that's valid. It's also Josh Allen. We can't just expect him to just be awful. Like, he could just come out and put up 550 and 6 touchdowns and just say fuck you to the entire Bengals. That's what you get with Josh Allen. Either he plays like a psycho and has, one good throw and then immediately a pick that is just the goofiest thing you've ever seen, or he's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's either goofy or the GOAT, and there's no in between. And I don't know. He's been worse this year than normal, so I'm gonna bet on the odds that he has a good game. That's what I'm gonna bet on, just because I want to say that I was right in the preseason, that I knew before it all happened. That's my only hope at this point. I need to win one. Your turn now, Mr. Bears man.
Mr. Football.
There's something going on that he doesn't want to.
Bengal good. Win game.
Bengal good win game.
He doesn't want to speak, but I'm putting him down for the Bengals on the graphic.
There you go. I think there's somebody in his area at the moment. Yeah. Okay. So he's muted and can't talk.
I think with that we can smoothly move on to.
Let's shit talk the Bears for a while because he can't defend it.
Chiefs and the Jags. What's up?
What is this? I don't know what this means.
I have been freed. I can speak once again.
Okay.
I apologize. My father came in.
Gotcha.
So, as I said, Bengal good win game. I stand by that.
Yeah,
that's valid.
Like Geek said, Josh Allen's Josh Allen. Eventually, he's going to go off in one of these games, but they are going up against the most complete defense left in the playoffs. Even though
But Eli Apple exists on this defense.
He exists, but
Oh, come
I
on.
don't know.
Eli
I'm
Apple
not-
versus
I'm
Gabe
not
Davis.
expecting-
Who wins?
I'm not expecting a Gabe Davis masterclass. I'm sorry.
Gabe
that
Davis is
not...
going to have 4 touchdowns. I'm calling it here.
I mean, if he does, then I can just chalk it up to Gabe Davis. But like we were talking about earlier, Dawson Knox isn't the most impressive guy in the world. And the Bengals secondary outside of Eli Apple is pretty damn good. The front seven's pretty damn good. Joe Burrow is Joe Burrow. He's a guy that's going to make very few mistakes. You got the beat up Bills secondary that he's going up against. Beat up pass rush. I know the Bengals offensive line is kind of not Swiss cheese quite, but they are hurting a little bit. They're going up against the beat up pass rush. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. They can run the ball if they need to. Like Jake said, they'll probably be able to develop the deep ball and be able to push the ball downfield. So, once again, I will reiterate, Bengal good win game.
Yeah,
That's
simple as
valid.
that.
That's valid.
Instead of putting the Bengals logo on our graphic, can you put that for me? Just the text Bengal good win game.
I will do that. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. And then that way people will have to watch the episode to figure out what the fuck I mean by that. Because it's obviously not clear.
Right. Nobody
Wait,
will
not
get it.
really clear what I'm trying to say.
That's the way to hook them in.
Yeah.
But yeah, last game, capping off the episode, talking about Mr. Mahomes taking on the Jaguars. Again, starting us off, I find it so hard to justify picking against Mahomes at home in the playoffs. I'm sorry, it's their first playoff game. They won't lose. It's the Chiefs. Simple as that, man. That's all I got to say. Like, they're a better team. They will win.
Go ahead, Miller. I'm letting you go second this time.
Yeah, I mean, not to discredit the Jaguars by any means. They're an impressive football team. They're on a great little Cinderella run. God, I feel like I'm starting to echo those who talked about the AFC Championship last year, and I'm going to get the same outcome now that I'm saying it out loud. But like Jake said, Mahomes is already in that Brady tier where it's hard for me to pick against him in the playoffs unless his opponent is like dramatically superior everywhere else. And the Jaguars, while they're good, aren't quite there yet. So I do think the Chiefs will come out on top on this one. I think it'll end up being like a shootout, and I trust Mahomes more than anybody else in a shootout. I know Geek's gonna be like, Chiefs defense sucks, and he's right, they do. I just think Mahomes will score more points because that's what Mahomes does. He's at home at Arrowhead. Plus, Trevor Lawrence is getting that jinx all week of he's never lost on a Saturday. This game's getting played on a Saturday. And he also said something to the effect of like playing at Arrowhead isn't going to be any different than any other stadium. So I think the jinx is also
valid.
against the Jaguars this week. It probably is valid, but
The jinx is also against the Chiefs. We have 2 jinxes going up against each other this week, actually. Trevor Lawrence has never lost on a Saturday. Patrick Mahomes has never failed to make an AFC Championship game either. You got 2 nevers going head-to-head. Something ends this week.
Yeah, the break is Trevor talking about Arrowhead.
See, they're...
Are you picking the Jaguars, Geek?
I want to so
wrong,
bad. I want to so bad. Mostly, so this has been my favorite joke ever since the Josh Allen versus Josh Allen game. Since then, Jaguars Josh Allen has just been known to everyone around me as better Josh Allen. I think better Josh Allen goes into Arrowhead and does what quarterback Josh Allen can't do. Beats the Chiefs. I just want it to happen. I want the narrative. I don't think it makes sense, but give me better Josh Allen to own Mahomes. He just makes plays to win. I'm taking the upset pick, dude. I'm doing it because I want it because it's funny. I don't care.
If we're looking for X factors, you want the real X factor in this game?
What's that?
Jacksonville Jaguars offense lack.
Fullback.
Do they?
Doesn't have a fullback.
Really?
Yes. But the Kansas City Chiefs do. They have good old Michael Burton. You have to Google this. I'm a fucking walking fullback encyclopedia.
You say that, but then you
me?
get shit wrong all the time, so we're not doing that. Oh, you're right though.
I
God
trust
damn
him
it.
more than I trust.
Oh, because I don't think CJ Ham's better than Pat Ricard.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
I trust. Okay. Okay. Listen, I trust Miller football about fullbacks more than I trust the ESPN.
I was gonna say I get shit wrong about other things, but fullbacks. I'm
No,
don't miss wrong.
Still having Ricard above Ham, doing that in the first place was just awful. But still having it be that way.
I think they're basically on the same level.
You said that, but then you came out with your ratings and you still had them higher, and I'm still gonna
right.
bitch
And
about
on the
it.
ratings, I literally said I think there's an argument both ways.
Well, flip it. Stop just hating on Ham. Stop hating on the Ham god because he's Viking.
Flip it.
No, you flip
The only reason
I
I
need
have
a public
Ricard higher
apology
is because he's more impactful for his team. That's the only reason I have him higher than Ham. Other than that, like, Ham is the better all-around football player. I have no shame in saying that. It's just hard to put him ahead when Ricard's so good and so impactful for his team. Like I said, I think there's an argument both ways. Can't you just be happy with that?
And I mean, does Isaiah Hodgins deserve to be ranked higher than Jamar Chase? Like,
oh my gosh,
Chase is better, but who's been more valuable to their team?
Would it make you happier if I say 3A versus 3B?
No. Until the Ham god moves up, I'm going to bitch about it. Until you officially move him up.
If the Vikings would use him more, he would be higher. Go to Kevin O'Connell personally and say, listen, my friend likes fullbacks, and he refused to say that CJ Ham is better than Pat Ricard because you don't use him, so
there's
you
a
need to
chance
fix it.
CJ Ham's not a Viking next year either, and I might cry.
Oh my god, I really hope he isn't. I hope they free him from that prison.
It's apparently again a cap issue. He only played like 14% of offensive snaps this year. He's going to be making like $5 million next year. I genuinely think he's gone. Apparently Miller's gone because he froze.
He did.
And Jake's just spinning. I don't know why. I always thought you were sitting on your bed. So the fact that you're like rotating like that confused me for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, it seems to me like we are at a good stopping point. We didn't talk about head coach firings, but there will be a lot more by the time we film next, so we will just hit those harder because there'll be lots to talk about with the AFC Championship game, with the conference, less games to cover. So that has been it from us. Maybe Miller will come back by the time we're finishing this outro, but thank you guys so much for listening to the Run the North podcast. We are Run the North on every platform: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, everything. Yeah, we are Run the North on Spotify. Review the podcast, do whatever you can to help support us, and we will see you next time. All right.
Peace.
Way to be, boys. Way to be.